Yo, man, anyone here ready to crush butt on Crank Solo Edition? Do we use the phrase crush butt too much? No.
3, 2, 1, bro.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm one half of the Brothers Murph, and this is You Can Solo That? You Can Solo That is a series that I do where I go through and I play the solo variants of all the board games here that we have that have solo variants. So this week, I'm trying out something new. I'm going to play a game called Clank, an adventure, a deck building adventure, whatever. It's called Clank. So Clank is a game by Renegade Games. Renegade Games is very good at working technology in with their games. A lot of their games have companion apps, and Clank is no different. So this is going to be a little bit of a different You Can Solo That, in the way where I'm going to be playing the solo variant, which is in the Renegade Games app. So if you want to play Clank solo, you got to get the app. The app is free, don't worry. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Where did that come from, that term, an arm and a leg? Why not a shin and an eyebrow? That's what we're saying from now on out. I decided it. That's what we're saying from now on out. It's not like it's going to cost you a shin and an eyebrow. So throughout this review, I'm going to be using this here device. I only have a phone. I don't have a tablet. So we're going to have to do one of them close-up phone type things for this one. But I'm sure it'll work. I already recorded that part, so I know it works. So this is going to be a time where using your phone during a game is acceptable. Let's get it to the table. Let's get our phones out and see how this bad boy plays. I also want to say before I start this talk through that I work in an art studio, and so there's paint on my arms and stuff. So I don't have some weird disease. I'm covered in paint constantly. So if you see paint, I don't have a rash. I'm just playing games. So for Clank Solo Edition, you need an app. For an app, you need a phone. Real quick question, do I got this? Oh yeah, I got this. Patrick Swayze told me so. So we got our phones here. Let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. What? Oh gosh, it's embarrassing. Open up the Renegade app. The Renegade app right here. It's got a whole bunch of Renegade games. We got Fuse and Flatline and Clank in Space and Lanterns. Really, really good apps all the way around. We are going to go ahead and click Clank, obviously. Nailed it! Now they have Clank and Clank Sunken Treasures, and I'm sure the Clank Mummy expansion will be coming soon. Ultimately, they work exactly the same, so whatever one you're playing with, go ahead and choose that one. We're going to go and pick the base game for this one. So they have a couple options. We have the Solo Edition, or you can play Clank Multiplayer, and it adds kind of like a variant, you could call it. So we're going to go and click Clank Solo. Choose our color, be red, green, blue, or yellow. I'm always yellow, so let's go ahead and be freaking yellow. Boom, Clank Solo. So it's going to tell you to remove a couple things or set up the game in a little bit of a different way. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the number 7 and the number 30 artifact. It always randomly generates which two artifacts are going to be moved from the game, so it's always a little bit different. So now that we've removed them, we go ahead and click Showcase. And then you only have one minor secret on each spot on the board for the minor secrets instead of 2. Now the rest of them you want to put to the side of the board because they may come in handy a little bit later. Alrighty, now that we got all that, let's go Showcase. Now you're going to place the dragon on the 2-player spot, the one with 3 red dragon cubes on there. Let's go ahead and do that. We have a gold dragon because Mike won a Clank tournament, so we got a fancy gold dragon. Bang! And then you're going to take a color that you're not using, in this case red. You're going to keep the pawn out and bring all the cubes out as well. And you're going to put 3 cubes up in the Clank area along with your starting cubes up there. This is going to represent threat throughout the game. Threat is another way for you to lose the game and another thing for you to kind of manage throughout the game. Alright, now that those threat be there, let's click that Showcase. So in this spot, it just gives you different information on how the game works, but I'll actually explain it myself because it'd be kind of boring just to read all this. So go ahead once you read it and click that Showcase. So now we're right here and we're ready to go. So there's going to be a quest throughout the game that you're trying to complete, and then you have your next turn button. On the bottom here, you have 10 threat achieved, and then game over once you finish the game. Now again, the game could end because you died. The game could end because you died above the top half of the... Now the game could end because you died. You can die in the same way as normal Clank, or you click this button here if you ever achieved 10 threat throughout the game. That's generally not a good thing. It's roughly equivalent to someone else getting out of the dungeon before you do in a normal game. So throughout the game, you're trying to complete certain quests. Now these are very small and relatively inconsequential, but they just give you a little bitty bonus once you do complete them. So in this one right here, it says generate 5 skill on your turn within 3 turns. So bang, we completed that quest, which was to generate 5 skill on 1 turn. And we did. So now we go back to our app. Oh gosh, sorry. Go back to our app. And we did complete it within 3 turns. So we're going to click quest completed. And yay, it says, well, aren't you impressive? And so this turn you gain 1 more boot. So you basically get to do a boot. You can move 1 more time. Yay! And then you go ahead and click next turn. So once we do that, we get a new quest. This one is clear the 3rd card in the dungeon row within 3 turns. And once we do that, we click quest completed. We get something else. So now we get to take 2 Clank away, and we click next turn and we move on with our day. Or like this one, which is use a device, which is in the dungeon row within 4 turns. Sometimes they're really long, like they can be 4 or 5 turns. Sometimes they're really short, like do this, but you only got 1 turn to do it. Now you gotta ask, what happens when I don't complete a quest? Well, this can happen. You failed your quest, you have to put 3 threat up there in the Clank area. So this, again, is another way you can pretty much signal the end of the game. So you want to make sure this doesn't happen. So if this happens, boom, you go on, press next turn, press OK, and then you get a new quest to start working on. So you don't have to finish quests, but it behooves you to. All right, so now that we've finished our turn, we're going to go back to our phone. Oh, God. Man. Okay. So now that we're done with our turn, we're going to click next turn. Now we do this before we refill the dungeon row with cards. So we're going to click next turn, and it's going to essentially eliminate cards. Now, sometimes it's like this, where it just has you eliminate a card, and boom, you do that, and then you refill the dungeon row, treating it as normal. Or it could be something like a dragon attack happens. Oh no! Or it could be something like this, where you remove the 5th and the 6th card. And if any of them cost 4 or more, you add 3 Clank. This could be if any of them are companions, if any of them are monsters or anything like that. There could be a whole bunch of different stuff. So this is just kind of random events that are happening to you that aren't too good. Oh no, we had to put 10 of these threat cubes down there. So now what happens? Okay, so we go back to our phone. Come on, Nick. Jeez. So if you get to 10 threat, you put 10 threat achieved. Only press OK if you've reached 10 threat. You go, okay. So now you do the countdown, just like if someone else got out of the dungeon before you did. How it counts it down, it ends the game quickly. So you're going to go boom, and you go next turn, and then it moves over here, and you do a dragon attack, and then da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, game over. Okay, but what if we die, or if we get all the way out of the dungeon and we win the game? Well, let's go back to that app, though. Okay, Nick. This joke is getting old. So, boom, we either died or we got out or whatever, so we click game over. And it says, are you sure the game is over? I want to keep playing. So you score the game. So what you do is you click in the middle here, and it's going to say, how did you end the game? Did you die beneath the middle point? Did you get rescued, which means you died, but you died above the top half, or you escaped completely? Let's go died. If you died, you get nothing. Okay, well, what happens if you get rescued? Okay, you click which artifact you got, because you had to get an artifact, let's say 25. Boom! How much gold did you have? 78. How many player tokens did you have? 92. How many cards did you have with victory points on them? I had 1 point. Boom. And then you come with your final score here. Okay. All the data is correct. Yay! Woo! And then it's pretty much the same thing if you escape. Except for you're going to get one of those mastery tokens. So the same thing. Go bam, click it, click it, click it, click it. But here you get the escaped plus 20 up here. So you go, okay, yay, I win. And that is how you solo that Clank. Solo that Clank. Ooh. And that was Clank, a deck building adventure. Our boxes. It's seen better days. So how was it, Nick? I'm so curious to know. Well, Nick, why don't you tell us? Yeah, I want to know how that game is too. Well, friend, and whoever the hell you were, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was actually pretty darn good. I liked it because it played more or less like the normal game of Clank. Like, for the most part, you're still going out there trying to get treasures. The end game conditions are all the same. Whether you're getting threaded out or whether you're dying or whether you're trying to get out of the dungeon itself, all of that works pretty much exactly the same. And that's pretty nice because I like the game. It's simple. I love it. But the app is nice. I really, really like the little bitty quests that you have because they're not absolutely like required. Like, you don't have to do them, but you're gonna get consequences if you don't. Now, again, the consequences aren't dire. It's not like if you didn't do this one, you're gonna die straight out, boom, you're done. But it's gonna make it so little bits of bad stuff happen. And the thing is the objectives and the little quests that you're going on aren't really that hard. A lot of times it's like just find a potion or try to get to a crystal cavern in this turn. And a lot of times you have multiple turns to do it, so you don't have to do it right away. And I like it because it's a little bitty thing that you kind of always need to be going for. And it's nice because it kind of changes the way you do things a little bit. Because I'm like, oh, if I'm looking for a potion, I'm going to go this route to get down to where I'm trying to go instead of this route because this route has more minor secrets or major secrets, and I really, really need to get a potion on the next turn or two. Or I'm going to go in here and go into this little crystal cavern. That way I don't get punished for not doing it because it was part of my objective. And none of it is game changing. None of it is too crazy, but it adds a little bit of stuff that you constantly have to be doing. And I like that a lot. I also really, really like when you press next turn and you always are eliminating certain cards because it actually ramps up the game a lot. The game is tough because you're buying cards and then the game is always eliminating cards. A lot of times you're always going to be eliminating 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 or 5 cards from the dungeon row. So the chances of having a dragon attack are coming up fairly often. Both times I played the game, I just got killed out real quick. Well, not real quick, but I got pretty close to being able to win. But it was tough, and I liked that. I thought it was an interesting kind of change where, at least personally, I was getting hit so much that healing became a really big deal for me. And then there's always the chance of the threat. Threat isn't a huge deal. It's kind of like simulating another player because they're trying to get out. And once you get 10 threat, you kind of trigger the end of the game and that dragon attack that happens at the end of the game when someone escapes first. And I thought that was cool. I thought it's another thing to think about, another thing to do. And I liked that. I thought that was an interesting thing. Overall, the app is pretty seamless. It works pretty well. It's very easy to do. It explains everything. It's like, hey, take this out, take this, do this, boom, always do this. And I like that. I thought it was nice. It was very easy to use in the game because you could just go, boom, next turn, read what it says, do it, boom. There wasn't a lot of upkeep like a lot of solo games have where also you have to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and then you can do your next turn. And then this one was just like, boop, boop, all right, cool, boom, do, good, go. And like a lot of solo games, it tends to play quicker than a normal game. I really, really like it. You can play it with Sunken Treasures. I know there's one for Clank in Space. I haven't played that one because we don't have Clank in Space. But overall, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. It's something that I think I would play. And it's kind of a nice integration, especially if a lot of games could do this where they don't have to have a solo variant in the game, but they can have a companion app that kind of changes things up a little bit. I liked it. I thought it was cool. Good integration, a good use of technology in board games. And Renegade Games kills it per usual. Okay, I am going to get out of here. Until next time, everyone, you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. Go clanking down with the clanky clanks, and we will see you later.
Hey, you just saw us in that video, and now here I am again. Why are you still here? Since we got you here, go ahead and check out Restoration Games. There's info for them in the description below, and they sponsor us. They're super cool and have great games. And there's also like things to click to subscribe to us, and this game is broken. There's videos. There's just more stuff to click so you can see more of this.